To Javaism, and in this video we are going to talk about what is the transient keyword and how we can use it. So basically, if you don't know what is the transient keyword and what is the serial version UID, so I'm going to explain with the practical example how we are using in the Java. Okay, so here if you see if you don't want to serialize any data members, what is the meaning of that? You know the serializations, but in top of the serialization, if you consider some of the data member is not participates in the serializations, so you can do with the transient keyword. Okay, so simply I have written here, if you don't want to serialize any data members of the class, you can mark it as a transient. So for example, this is the employee class and it's implemented the serializable, and inside this having a ID, name, and we have some constructor for that. But the problem is I don't want to send my ID onto the server or any of the network call. Okay, because right now we are setting this data into the file, right? So if you not give any transient keyword, what will happen? ID or name will be stored in the file, but we don't want to store it ID, only we have to store the name. Then we can go with the transient keyword and we can use before the whatever the variables we have created, and only it is useful when we are making a serializable and we are writing a data into the file or maybe the some network call. So you can use like that variable only, and we can make particular member as a transient. Okay, understood? Now ID will not be serialized, so when you deserialize the object after serializations, you will not get the value. Okay, so basically whenever you serialize the your whatever the utility class you have or module class you have, and you want to deserialize it, so while doing a deserialize you can't get the ID value. Okay, it will return default value always. In such a case it will return ID is 0 because the data of the ID is in integers. Okay, so I hope you understood, but let me take a quick example for that. And one more things also I want to explain you, what is the serial version ID. So many places you can see this is the also we are using in the real-time applications. Why we are using it? Because the serialization process at runtime associates an ID with each serializable classes, which is known as a serialized version of ID. Okay, so while doing a serializations of the process at runtime, so basically it will associate with your particular file ID. Okay, so that serialization will be matched. It is used to verify the sender and receivers of the serialized object. This is the main things you have to remember it. So whenever people will ask you what is the serial version UID, so you can simply say that it is used to verify the sender and receivers of the serialized object. Okay, that is called serial version. The sender and receiver must be the same. To verify the serial version UID is used to sender and receiver must have the same serial version ID, otherwise invalid class exception will be thrown. So whenever we do the serialization of the object, you can also declare your own serialized version UID in the serializable classes. To do this, you can need to create a field of the serialized version UID and assign a value to the it. It must be the long type. So serial version ID is long type and it's a static and final also. It's suggested to explicitly declare the serial version UID field in the class and have the primitive private also, and it's be private also. For example, you can declare like that. So whatever the classes we are going to make as a serializables, you can declare this field as a serial version ID with the private static final long, and you can give this. So it will particular become it will sender and receivers will participate, and it should be the same. Okay, so this is the things we have to do the practical so that you can understood in the better way. So for example, this is the student class we have. In this student class I have created some of the members, which is SID, SName, and number. And I have given one constructor, parameterized constructor, and getter settle method and twisting method. That's it. But if you see here, I have not given the serial version ID. So I have not given anything right now. Okay, and this is the classes I have created here, and this classes is available here. Now I want to write some of the data inside this. Okay, so if I want to write, let me create one test class for it. Okay, so here click on that, and I will create one test class. Okay, so let me create one student test class I have created, and inside the student test class what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one main methods. Okay, and inside the main methods, and I'm going to create one file. Otherwise you can directly give the file name also, no issue. Okay, so I'm going to create directly because as of now you understood each and everything. So let me create directly. So you want to write a data into the file. So what we have to take? We have to take object output stream. So let me take object output stream. So I will take here object output stream. So OOS equal to new object output stream. Object output stream will take one constructor. Okay, stream will take the one constructor which is file output stream, and file output stream will it's also one constructor. So let me write new, and inside the file output stream I can pass my file name. So my file name is like student data.txt, simple I have given, and I have closed the files. It will throw one exception, so let me handle it with the try and catch block. Okay, so I have written the try and catch here. Okay, fine. Otherwise you can throw also. So I think throw will be better. It will not look like clumsy code. Okay, so let me throw it here. Throw the declarations. Okay, so our file will be created here. Now we want to write a object of inside this file. So for that we have to create one student object. So I created a student is equal to new student, and inside this student I will set some value like s dot set id. So id will be, I will set 101, and s dot set name I will give something called prince. Okay, and s dot set number I will give something like that. Okay, so this is the number should be also in the string format. So let's give the string. Okay, now so we have created one object as of now, and we want to store this object inside our file. So what we can do, we can take the help of OOS, object output stream. This is capable to store the data into the file. So here I will write OOS dot write object, and I will pass my object here, and then I will do OOS dot plus, so that instantly it will move our data into the file, and then after OS dot I will do the close. Okay, so through that it will close also. Let me run this code. Okay, let me run this code so that you can understood. Okay, I run the code, and I didn't print anything. So let me print one more things like s out data student is store in file. Okay, so whenever I run this code, you can see like it will print this message, so that I will understand, okay, data is stored in the files, and I can go and check the file, like where is the file. So let me refresh my project. So once I refresh this project, you can see the student data file is created, and here some student data is stored. Okay, so as of now, like there is no understanding like what is the use of the transient keyword. So let me read the data of the student. So while reading a data of the student, okay, I have to take the help of the object input stream. So I will create after that object input stream, and here I will give object input stream equal to new object input stream, and inside this I will give a new file input stream, and inside this I will pass the file. So file name should be same, so that it will read the data from the same place. Okay, so I have given one file name here, and it should be in the string format we have to give. Okay, and then give the semicolon. Okay, and our input stream is created. Now we have to read the data from this file. So for that we can write ons.read object. Okay, and if you call the read object, it will read the object, and you can store this object. So it will throw the exceptions. So let it be throw. Okay, and this will return the one object. So those object I will easily print it. So I will write s out, and I will write read object dot to a string, and then after I will close the connection. So ons dot close I will write, so it will close the connection. Okay, and now we can see our data is displayed. Okay, so it will display the data. So let me run once again, then we can see like what data it's displaying. So if I run this application and go to the console, you can see it display SID is 101. Okay, name is Prince, and number is whatever I have given, same thing. Okay, so we are able to read the data. But the problem is, what is the use of the transient? So here you can use the transient keyword. Okay, so if I use the transient keyword of SID, okay, and I will try to again run this program, what will happen? Transient ID, which variables will not make it serializable, means those data will not store into the file, and while displaying the data it will not show the ID. So if you see, it's showing the ID is 0. If I make again in the same code, if I make this name is also transient, oh my god, transient, it means the name will also not participate. So what exactly is happening? While creating this object will be created, no issue, but because of a student, this ID and name is become a transient. While writing an object into the file, the transient member value will not go to file. So transient value will not go to the file. So what will happen? This transient declared member will not go to the files, and because of that, when we are trying to read those value from the same file, while reading, it will not get those value. It will get the default value only. Okay. So this is the happen. If I run once again, then you can see the name will also not display here. So if you see SID is 0, null, and name is also 0, because if your object is serializable, and if you declare any member as a transient, those member will not participate in the serializables. Okay, so this is the issue, and this is not an issue, this is the things we have to understand. So sometimes it's a coming a requirement, like we don't want to participate some of the members or fill into the serializable process. That time we are using the transient keyword. Okay. And one more thing, what is the serial version UID? So here if you click on that, it will say like add default serial version UID. So once you click on that, it will generate one serial version UID here. Okay, and the data type of this long, and this is the name of the serial version UID, and that is also very, very important things. So what will happen? This will not impact anything, but it's only assured that whatever the like sender and receiver. So sender means like this one. Okay, here if you go, this is the sender. This is the sender object, and this is the receiver object we have. Okay, so both object will communicate in the same file, and it will declare like that, so that it will not mismatch. Okay, so this is the only it's showing, and that is very, very important also. Okay, so this is the transient keyword, and we are using the transient keyword only and only in the member. It means whatever the class variables we have declared. You can't use this transient keyword on the class level or any method level. We can use the transient keyword only the variable level. Okay, and serial version ID you understood, like sender and receiver will be same, so it will represent and it will check like both are same or not, so like that. Okay, thank you so much guys.